Today I'm going to be seeing who is going to be in the Champions League next season. The top 5 Champions League race is very insane right now. Like literally anyone could win it between Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Man City or Newcastle. Or Arsenal, I'm not sure. But we'll talk about that today. So please smash the like button, subscribe, and let's see what we get. So let's see predictions. So guys, right now the table is right there, as you can see right there. And as you can see in the table, you can see that, well, obviously Liverpool have guaranteed Champions League. They won the title as well, so you know that's obvious. Arsenal are only 2 points above Newcastle, but they're most likely gonna be in Champions League football if we, you know. Newcastle is in the Champions League race with Man City, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Nottingham Forest. Now, if you haven't noticed already, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I would obviously want Chelsea to win, but it's going to be a very interesting one, because if you look at the table, okay, just look at the table, right? 5th to 3rd is separated by 2 points. 5th to 2nd is separated by 5 points. 4th to 2nd is separated by 3 points. It's crazy. It's crazy. And anything could happen, right? Now, obviously, currently, Arsenal are most likely going to go to the most likely qualifying to the Champions League. Newcastle have a good chance, to be fair. They beat Chelsea and you know, they're most likely gonna qualify for the Champions League. Man City are kind of still there, you know. They drew to Southampton. That is a massive draw, honestly, for any other team, and this could, you know, potentially be bad for Man City, but I do see them qualifying. Their last fixtures aren't like obviously the hardest, so that's what I'm saying, right? And then of course Chelsea have not been doing too bad. They beat Liverpool and all that stuff, but they did lose to Newcastle, and that's how they are still in this, you know, sort of Premier League, sort of in this race still, and it's a very tough race for them. And Aston Villa doing all right. They were kind of out for the Champions League race a few days ago, but now they're kind of back in, so that's that. And then Nottingham Forest did drop a lot of points. They could have potentially been up there, but they did drop a lot. But they are only at 62 points, so we don't know. It's them less likely, but it all depends on that Chelsea game versus Nottingham Forest. That is a massive game, because whoever wins there practically gets Champions League. It depends how close the points are in match day 37, which I'll be talking about. But yeah, so as you can see right here, so it's a very interesting one. Of course, Arsenal sort of, you know, they're doing something. They're probably going to qualify to Champions League. I mean, we all, you know, joked about that they're not going to qualify. They're going to qualify. I'm going to be so real. Newcastle have a good chance. They're not, you know, obviously, you know, they need, probably if they win the next, if they beat Arsenal, they probably got Champions League. And then obviously Man City have Bournemouth, and well, Bournemouth have been hard. Aston Villa did manage to beat them, but I do see Man City kind of losing that. But I'll talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about that. So obviously Chelsea, I'll talk about Chelsea next later. So I'll just be saying the fixtures right now and see how many points we'll get. So Arsenal, they have, let me see who, Newcastle next. Newcastle. That's going to be tough. As a Chelsea fan, probably want Arsenal to win, so then Newcastle can, you know, maybe we can advance to Newcastle and stuff, but it's really tough. And Arsenal obviously currently, they need to beat Newcastle in order to actually get Champions League. They're qualified for Champions League. They need to beat Newcastle. They're probably going to, so yeah, and I'm going to say they're going to, so it's going to be a 2-0 win to Arsenal. And let's just say, okay, Man City lose to Bournemouth, because Bournemouth have been good, and I'm not being super biased to Chelsea, but I know for a fact Man City have been not the greatest. They managed to beat obviously Wolves and stuff, but they have had hard fixtures. For Fulham, it's going to be hard as well, so we have to keep an eye on that one. But Bournemouth, I feel like they're going to lose that one. So Newcastle will probably lose to Arsenal. Man City will probably lose to Bournemouth, which will actually stay the same, except for Arsenal being at 71 points. And Chelsea, we have Man United next. Man United obviously are not, you know, in the Premier League. Well, they're not really focusing in the Premier League, so you would think this would be easy, but you never know, do you? And as a Chelsea fan, we need to win this. Like, if we do not win this, we're cooked. We're not even getting Champions League. I feel like we're not getting Champions League, because that means the maximum amount of points we can get is 66, and that's not likely. And that's like not likely for Champions League. That's all I'm saying. I think 67, and that's if. Okay, I feel like 69 definitely qualifies for Champions League because of the goal difference between Chelsea and Aston Villa. So I do find Chelsea winning that. I'm not being biased or anything. We just have to, surely, right? We're playing in Stamford Bridge as well. Surely, come on, surely. This is the game before Man United play Tottenham in the final in the Europa League, but you know, they're obviously going to be focusing on the Europa League, so this Premier League game is useless for them, and it's very useful for Chelsea fans because we want Champions League. Aston Villa 6th. That's going to be a hard one because they have, actually I said a hard one, they have Tottenham. You know what, Tottenham, yeah, I give no favours to Tottenham. Tottenham always lose. You know what, Aston Villa, I see you winning that 3-0 just off the bat. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And that will actually make it. So then Aston Villa are 4th. Chelsea are 3rd. Man City will drop points. Man City will drop. And Newcastle will kind of drop. It depends how much they lose against Arsenal. And the goal difference, you know, between Chelsea and Newcastle. It will be a very interesting race. Very interesting. Nottingham Forest. They have, let me see. They have West Ham. Do I see them beating West Ham? Do I see them? I see them beating West Ham, but it'll be tough. It'll be tough. Now, okay, look, I'm gonna say West Ham did manage to beat Man United. But Man United and Tottenham, it's three points because they're not really going to, you know, they're not fighting for anything. West Ham kind of were. I feel like they have no competition to actually fight except the Premier League, so they need to actually lock in, but obviously it's a bit too late for that. They're just trying not to be 17th or, you know, the worst Premier League club apart from the 3 newly promoted clubs. So yeah, obviously Nottingham Forest, you know, I do see them being West Ham. So that will actually put them 65 points. That will put Nottingham Forest, Nottingham Forest still 7th, I think. Man City will be 6th. Aston Villa will be 5th. Chelsea will be 4th. It all depends with the goal difference and stuff. And 3rd will be Newcastle, Arsenal will be 2nd. And that will basically make it so that, well, Chelsea are still in the Champions League race. But it all depends on the final day. Because as you can see right here, well, I mean, okay, look, you can't really see it here yet because obviously, you know, that stuff. But as you can, well, Chelsea will be in the Champions League. Aston Villa will also be. Arsenal will also be. So it will be decent, right? But now the final day. This is a massive one. Chelsea against Nottingham Forest. Okay, I'm gonna start with that one. Yeah, I'm gonna start with that one. Massive game. Because if Nottingham Forest do end up being West Ham and we end up being Man United, then this will basically be who gets Champions League. Basically be. This is a final. We have 2 finals essentially, because we have a Europa Conference League final. Okay. 3 days after this, by the way, so it's quite insane. But we have a Europa Conference League final, and we also have a final here. This is a final. This will be a final. But we have to be Man United, obviously, first. But this will be a final. And we have to win it. We have to. There's no buts. We have to. Do I see us winning that? I see us winning that. Because I know a bunch of Nottingham Forest fans are going insane. I see us winning that. I'm not being biased. I'm trying not to be biased. There's only 2 fixtures, so I can't really be too biased, you know. But I do see us winning that. Newcastle, who do they have? I need to check real quick. They have Everton last. Everton. I see that a win because Everton have been good. I'm not going to ignore Arsenal, they obviously qualified. Man City, I have Fulham next. They are playing away, but I do see them winning. I do see them winning one of their last 2 matches, and I do see that being 68 points, which will probably mean they'll qualify. So that means Chelsea will have 69, and that means Nottingham Forest will most likely be in the Europa League then. And then Aston Villa, they have Man United next. And there's one thing on Man United. This is the game of the Europa League final. It all depends there, because if Man United beat the Europa League, if they manage to beat Tottenham, they will come here with a really nice, you know, insane morale and all that stuff. So that could be tough. If Man United lose, they still want to sort of avenge and come back. So this is tough. Okay, Aston Villa had Tottenham first. Yeah, and now they have Man United. So I simply don't see Aston Villa beating Man United last final. I see them drawing, which will mean Chelsea will end up 4th. So if obviously the table doesn't show anything, I'll probably update the table. I'll probably start doing that a bit soon. But Liverpool will be 1st, the 2nd will be Arsenal, 3rd will be Newcastle. Yeah, Chelsea will be 4th, and Man City will be 5th. That is my predictions. And then Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest. I'm sorry, I just feel like Aston Villa obviously have Tottenham easy. Man United could be tough, depends what happens. Nottingham Forest, yeah, it all depends on that Chelsea game. So look, I'm gonna leave it there. It all depends on that one Nottingham Forest vs Chelsea. But that's basically the final. That is the massive final to go to the Champions League. So come on, Chelsea. Okay, I'm not only saying come on, Chelsea. I also support I mean, I don't support them, but I wish them good luck. I wish Man City, Newcastle, maybe even Arsenal, you never know. Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. So I see that. But anyway, without further ado, we will end this video now. Guys, that's basically my predictions. What do you guys think in the comments down below? I know you might have different predictions and stuff, and I know, please don't hate me in the comments, bro. I'm just trying to give my honest opinion. I'm not trying to be biased or anything. I think genuinely, like I said, Newcastle, Man City, and Chelsea, and you know, Arsenal and Liverpool will qualify. But you guys can have different opinions. You never know what can happen, to be fair. It's really, really tight, so you never know. But anyway, without further ado, let's end this video. Goodbye.